Hey, welcome back to Jay Creates. Today we're going to take less than one fence picket and we're going to make this planter box. This little tiny planter box is about 10 inches wide, about 6¼ inches deep, and stands about 8 inches tall. Alright, so what do you need to get this project started? Well, you need a fence picket or any other kind of wood you want to make with it. Make it with. I cut 2 at 10 inches for the sides and 2 more at 5 inches for the short side. So we got our 4 pieces cut out on the miter saw, 2 at 10 inches, 2 at 5 inches. Yeah, 2 at 10 and 2 at 5. Then I want to rip them down to 5½. I mean, they're like 5 5/8 right now, so I'm just going to rip them down all at 5½ to make sure they're all perfectly the same size. So we're going to rip these down to make sure they're all 5½ inches. So I'm going to set the miter saw or the table saw to 1.5 inches, and we'll rip some strips out of this. Alright, let's try that again without the mask on. So we got those ripped down to 5½ inches, so they're all the same size. And the legs here on the pine prototype, those are 1.5 inches. And how tall did I make them? I think it was like 8 inches. About 7 7/8. I remember when I was making the prototype, I don't know, one got shorter than the other 3, so I had to sand down the other 3 to match. So I originally aimed for 8, and I must have mismeasured, and I ended up a little bit shorter, so that's okay. That's why we practice, right? So I'm going to set the table saw to 1.5 inches. I'm just going to rip some strips. This leftover, this is one fence picket. Here, I cut the dog-eared end off just because this end is cracked, which is the factory end. This was the dog-eared end. So the end with the dog ear was not cracked all the way up. But since it is cracked most of the way up, and that's what happened to a lot of, I picked up 20 of these fence pickets, and I'd say 3/4 of them at least have started cracking all the way up. So it's really going to kind of limit what I do with them. I think the trick is with the cedar fence pickets is to get them, use them right away, and let them dry out in the shape that you make out of them, right? So this fence picket, when I talked about them being bowed, it was because they were super dry. They've been sitting around for like a year. So I think that's the trick, right? Is to make the planters with the wet wood and then let it take the shape that you create when it dries out. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, I'm going to take this and I'm going to rip some 1.5 inch strips out of it, and we're going to use it for the legs. The smell of that cedar as it's been cut smells amazing. I got a couple strips at 1.5 inches. This one's 1.5 inches, but it also has a crack all the way up pretty much the middle. So it wouldn't last too long out in the weather. So that cedar smells really good. It's like I said, it's my first time working with cedar. Love it. I'm going to love it when I can find it, right? So I'm going to take these over to the miter saw. I'm going to cut some 8-inch legs. I'm just going to cut a whole bunch of them. Well, I'm going to cut at least 4, right? Because we're making one box. So let me get these legs cut, and then I think we're gonna do a little bit of sanding too. You know, cedar fence pickets, they're like super fuzzy, you know, it's all rough cut. So I think they do look cool with the fuzz, makes them a little bit more rustic. But I think if we sand it up a little bit, just take the fuzziness off, I think it's going to look even better. So let me get these cut into legs. I'll come back and do some sanding. Well, like I said, I'm going to do a little bit of sanding on these. I'm not going to make them like, 400 grit or anything. I think I got like a 180 or 120 on there. I'm just going to use that. And, yeah, I'm just going to use the 120 or the 180 or whatever's on here. Can't tell. Just to knock off all the fuzziness on the cedar. So this is what it looks like, before sanding. So this feels really fuzzy, and you can see the lifting of the grain and the fibers and all that. So let's give it a little bit of a sanding, show you what it looks like afterwards, and then we'll get to assembling these things. You can kind of see what it's going to look like. It's just a little smoother, less fuzzy, but I'm not going to make you watch me sand all these pieces. So when I get them all sanded and a couple of sips of coffee in, I'll come back. All right, so I got everything sanded up. I got sawdust on my glasses. These are, I might have mentioned them in another video, but I'll put a link in the description below. These are safety readers because I can't see anything close up. And I use reading glasses like all the time. So those are not really safe to wear in the shop. So I found these reading safety glasses, which are awesome. And I have gone home a couple of times wearing these, thinking I was wearing my regular glasses. But anyway, what are we going to need to assemble this? We need some glue. This is Type-On 3. I would suggest Type-On 3, especially if you're going to put this outside. I got some 1-inch brad nails loaded up. And I got some clamps over here ready to help me keep everything straight and tight. Once we get the glue and the nails in, we're going to put some clamps on it just to be safe. You probably don't really need the clamps, but this wood is just slightly bowed. So I am going to use the clamps to kind of force everything to stay where I put it. So let's get started on it. It's just a simple box, no fancy joints or anything like that. We're just going to use butt joints. Well, something like that. We're going to do these on the outside. It's like I'm playing Jenga over here. So it's just going to be a simple box joint. Not box joint, but butt joint. And then we're going to put the legs on. Stand it up. I'm just trying to see which way the seams would look better. Because it is bowed. It's not going to be like perfectly matching, but it also is going to add to the rustic nature of the planters, right? That's what we're going to call it anyway. So, let's put a little glue on here. And this is end grain here, so it's going to soak up a good amount of that glue right into the wood, especially when the wood is so dry. So I'm also going to put a little bead of glue on the end of this piece. Then we're going to glue these two together, stick some brad nails in it, and work our way around until we got a complete box. I'm just making sure the ends are as flush as possible at the top and the bottom, and then the little bit of bowing, we'll try to correct that with the clamps and some brad nails later on. So I only put a brad nail at the top and the bottom. Once I get the clamps on, I'm going to try to put a brad nail right in the middle so we have 3 on each edge. And then I'm going to put some clamps on it just to force that together while the glue dries. Having a little bit of bowing issue. But anyway, I almost completely forgot about the bottom. So to get the measurement for the bottom, I just measured the inside, which is just about 5 inches by 11 or 8 7/8 or so. So I cut that out at the miter saw, and then I ripped it on the table saw. So next thing I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue on the sides, and then just kind of plop it in there. Might have to get the persuader out, because I said, it's not exactly square, so this corner is going to be a little tough getting in, but I think I can bang it in there without much of a problem. It'll do, right? Rustic. We'll just call it rustic. That means not square and not perfect, right? Anyway, got the bottom on. Next thing I'm going to do is put the legs on. So the legs, I'm just going to put them right on each corner. Set the top, put it upside down and just flush them up all the way around with some glue and brad nails. And then you're good to go. That's pretty much it after you get the drain holes and the legs on. Because, like I said, this is bowed, is a little bit more difficult to work with, so I added a couple extra brad nails in. But really, it's just about done. I'm going to sand this to get the glue squeeze out taken care of. Make sure everything's flush. I'm going to give it a round over with the sander. Then we'll come back and we'll do a little wrap up on this video. Alright, well, there you have it. Here is our prototype, our pine one that we talked about in the beginning of the video. And here is the cedar fence picket version. All right, same size, same dimensions, same build, everything. This one is sanded inside and out all the way around. I was using like the 120, 180, and then I just needed to remove as quick as possible, so I dropped down to 80 grit and just took all the fuzziness off of everything. Like I said, I wasn't gonna make it like a dining room table or anything. I just wanted to get the fuzziness off and bring out the red and the cedar a little bit more. So since I got that done, I'm like, well, let me make a couple of different ones, right? I don't want you guys to think that you have to make the same thing all the time, right? So I went ahead and made this one. This one's got like a little bit of a roof to it. It's 1.5 inches wide. The top boards are like 12 inches. These were like 8 inches. And then I put 45 degree on these two and the tops. And then I put some feet on the bottom. Got the drainage holes as well. That's sanded inside and out all the way around. And then I just decided to throw this one together this morning for an added bonus, right? So this one, I put some feet on the bottom, and then I put little handles on the side, so it's easier to help pick it up. And then of course we have the drainage holes. This one's only sanded on the outside. Now, like I said, all of my fence pickets are bowed beyond compare. It's crazy. So I think it's easier. I think it may be easier. You get your fence pickets and use them within a few days of picking them up at the store when they're still a little bit wet. So when they do dry out, they don't cup or bow as much as they could, right? They're going to generally stay in the shape that you put it in, when it dries out. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for joining me, guys. Hit that subscribe button, that like button, share it, leave me a comment, check the description below for links to all the tools I used. Don't forget, I have a 15% off coupon code when you go to rzmask.com. Get a mask, get some other stuff, get some filters, free shipping off in the United States. I think anything over $25. And don't forget that 15% off coupon code J15, link in the description below. Thank you. Come back. See you on the next one.